Task number 5, cracking Windows authentication hashes. This task is part of the John the Reaper module, which is a module inside the complete beginner path. Cracking Windows hashes. Let's download the task files. Now that we understand the basic syntax and usage of John the Reaper, let's move on to cracking something a little bit more difficult. Something that you may even want to attempt if you're on a real penetration test or red team engagement. Authentication hashes are the hashed versions of passwords that are stored by operating systems. It is sometimes possible to crack them using the brute force methods that we're using. To get your hands on these hashes, you must often already be a privileged user, so we will explain some of the hashes that we plan on cracking as we attempt them. Yeah, so basically our password stored in Linux under the etc shadow file. NT-hash, NTLM hash. NT-hash is a hash format that modern Windows operating system machines will store user and service passwords in. It's also commonly referred to as NTLM, which references the previous versions of Windows format for hashing passwords known as LM, thus NTLM. A little bit of history. The NT designation for Windows products originally meant new technology and was used starting with Windows NT to denote products that were not built up from the MS-DOS operating system. Eventually, the NT line became the standard operating system type to be released by Microsoft, and the name was dropped, but it still lives on the names of some Windows technologies. You can acquire NT-hash, NTLM hash by dumping the SAM database on a Windows machine by using a tool like Mimikatz or from the Active Directory database, ntds.dit. You may not have to crack the hash to continue privilege escalation, as you can often conduct a pass the hash attack instead, but sometimes hash cracking is a viable option. If there is a weak password policy. We have a little practical section. Now that you know the theory behind it, see if you can use the techniques we practiced in the last task, and the knowledge of what type of hash this is to crack. The ntlm.txt file. Answer the questions below. What do we need to set the format flag to in order to crack this? I presume NT or LM, which is actually older. I will say LM. Then let's try NT. Okay. So it's NT. What is the crack value of this password? Right. So we have the NTLM. Actually, we have the file. Let's remove all of these first, and then okay. So we get NTLM, this one. Let's now see if hash identifier has something on this. Include all possibilities. Let's go to crack station. NTLM and LM, right? Let's see what we can identify from here. Now, what I want also, like we did yesterday, let's also paste it here for hash identifier to see. And then let's go back over here and use the John command. And over here, it looks like we need NT. Wireless is good. And for this one, it's NTLM. Boom, let's go. So we identified mushroom. The syntax for cracking this NTLM hash is John -- format equals NT. The rest is the same, only the file is passed with the NTLM hash. Then the hash identifier identified that it's a possible, not that one. I see that hash identifier said that it's a possible MD5. Let me just close that and hit this again. Let me see if we run this, what happens. If you run this again, yeah, it still says MD5. And for least possible, it gives me readadmin and NTLM after that. But we identified it by John, and also CrackStation, NTLM mushroom. And also we see here for hash.com, hashes.com, it says again MD5, SHA-1, MD4, and then NTLM. Okay, really interesting. So it's NTLM with the value mushroom. Awesome.